Hi there. With all the cold weather and lack of power due to blackouts here at home, I've been pretty bored over the past few days, so I decided to start a travel vlog with whatever battery life I had left in my laptop. The first one up is 24 hours in South Africa. I normally fly home from Australia via the Pacific Ocean and then across Canada, but this time I decided to make it a little more exciting and go the other way, via Asia, Africa, and Europe.
The next station is the Brisbane International Airport.
After not having much free time to travel over the past few months, I hopped on a train to the Brisbane airport. 8 hours later, I found myself in Singapore, where I met up with some friends. We braved the rainy and humid weather and did what is quite possibly the best thing to do in the city: hit up the hawker stands and eat amazing and cheap food, despite the fact that half the time I have no idea what type of animal, plant, or insect I'm putting into my mouth.
Is it good?
Mmm,
Is it
just
good?
tastes like fried chicken.
We also had to make a trip out to a seafood restaurant, because no visit is complete without beer, satay, and our very own chili crab. Braving the rain once again, we witnessed some pretty amazing Asian fashion in the form of rain hats. And while we were already wet, we had to go get the obligatory panorama photos along with a tourist pose in front of the Merlion. The last thing to do on my Singaporean bucket list was to find a durian. I'm usually a fan of most foods, but I heard the smell of this can be quite intense, so I just had to try it while I was here.
Oh, it's good.
This is how an Asian eats durian.
Like the whole thing?
Yeah,
What's this?
eat the yellow thing. It's good.
After that epic fail, we were back at the airport where I had some time to kill before my flight, so we hit up the Children's Activity Center. 7 hours later, I had a layover in Tokyo just long enough to take advantage of free drinks and Japanese engineering in the form of an automatic pouring beer machine. After hitting the button several times, I was off to South Africa via Europe. Most airline food is pretty terrible in my opinion, but Scandinavian Airlines tries to mask it by dressing up their flight attendants in chef uniforms so that people think it's actually good food. But what was 10 times worse than bad food is a snoring seatmate. So after complaining about all the noise he was making, I somehow scored a cabin with 12 seats all to myself for the rest of the flight. A couple more flights later, while exhausting the airline's movie selection and having to resort to solitaire, I finally touched down on African soil. After waiting forever in the line at immigration, I began to notice various heads of state who were converging on South Africa for Mandela's funeral. While I saw the funeral coverage in the paper, on TV, and on the radio, I began to realize that he was a pretty important guy around here. One more quick flight, a lesson on which neighborhoods to not drive through, and one dodgy rental car later, I finally found myself at the resort in Durban. It didn't seem like there was much to do because of the terrible weather, so I decided to take advantage of the swimming pool that I had all to myself. I found a beach that was completely empty, minus some sand sculptures, and then tried to make some friends with random monkeys who later turned out to be dangerous. And after that, I did what I do best: hit up the hotel bar solo, become acquainted with a bottle of local wine, and take full advantage of the king-sized bed. After a morning coffee, I decided I should explore the surrounding area, so I made a list of things to do that weren't likely to result in me dead in a ditch on the side of the road. I ended up trekking through miles of sugarcane fields, where I met Dave, a British expat who flies micro-light aircraft. He convinced me that these things are mostly safe in cloudy and windy weather, and he agreed to take me on a flight out over the Indian Ocean.
I'm on top of the world, I'm on top of the world, Been waiting on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, been holding it in for a while, Take you with me if I can, been dreaming of this since a child. I'm on top of the world. I've tried to cut these corners, try to take the easy way out. I kept on falling short of something. I could've gave up then, but then again I couldn't have, 'cause I've traveled all this way for something. I take it in but don't look down. 'Cause I'm on top of the world, I'm on top of the world, Been waiting on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, Been holding it in for a while, Take you with me if I can, been dreaming of this since a child. I'm on top of the world.
After landing in one piece, I got to experience African roadworks at its finest, and even managed to make it back to the airport with time to spare despite getting questioned by a traffic cop.
Turn left toward passenger terminal.
A quick flight back up to Joburg, I checked my bags all the way to Canada, and had some time to spare in the airport to witness local HIV/AIDS prevention efforts, gawk at people who think wrapping bags in plastic is fashionable, and, of course, plane watch.
So the A380 has been flying for over 6 years now, and I have yet to step foot on one until today. I'm on this Lufthansa flight to Frankfurt tonight, and I'm more stoked than a kid on Christmas morning.
It finally came time to board, and while initially impressed with its massive size, the A380 was a huge letdown, as it's nothing more than a giant bus packed to its brims with passengers. To top it off, everyone kept speaking to me in German, and while I understand my race can be a bit ambiguous, I'd say I look closer to a million other options than German. However, one of Lufthansa's redeeming features was the welcome lounge at the Frankfurt airport, which a flight attendant explained to me had free, all-you-can-eat bacon. So when I landed, I went out, found the lounge, got my bacon, and was a happy camper. Before the grease coma set in, I did some duty-free shopping, contemplated hitting up the local airport casino but decided against it since I had no euros on me, and then finally found the Air Canada flight taking me back to Canada. One last long-haul flight, and then one final episode of gluttony, with Air Canada's grandmotherly flight attendants who insist that you must keep on eating and eating, and then one long rest to sleep it all off, and I was finally back in the land of ice after 5 months away.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Toronto. Now that we've landed, we'd like to ask you to remain seated.
After clearing customs for the final time, it was just one quick flight back to St. John's, and then one final drink to cheers to a well-deserved holiday break. So I hope you liked it. I know it was a bit more about planes, airports, and getting to South Africa than actually doing things there, but I've got some more epic plans coming up with Peru at the end of the month, Thailand in March, and then possibly Europe in June or July, so stay tuned.